What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Outlast to determine whether it's SMAC certified or not.
What's SMAC certified mean, Jared?
Yeah, what is it?
Basically, it's where whatever the price is it? I don't know.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth
Is
it?
it worth the money?
Yeah,
That's
I
simply
like
put,
that.
is it worth the money?
Think of one smack.
It's $1.
Yeah, it's not like it's one smack is like you're smacking that dollar on the counter. So if it costs you 20 smacks, you got to do it.
Is that what we call smacks?
I don't know.
I think just because I said SMACs on
Oh,
something.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what SMAC certified is. Is it worth the money? That's what we're doing here
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, so we're covering Outlast. It's a horror game. Probably should know this, but not sure who the developer was. Do you guys remember who the developer was?
It was like a very low budget.
I think it was kind of like an independent, right? It was
Yeah.
kind of like a sleeper success, and then
Yeah.
obviously it took off, and then they made a sequel. And they also had like a kind of like a mini prequel, which if you buy the game now, it actually will come with it, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And there's a new one coming out too.
It says, Red Barrels.
Red Barrels.
Yeah, so I know.
So yeah,
That
What
sounds
if-
familiar.
I wonder what they're up to now.
Outlast, the new one,
Trials?
probably. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. You just want to jump right into it, or
Yeah, I would say before we get too far into it, though, we have a decent number of people that... No, we don't. But if you are watching and you do like what you see, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. That means a lot to us. We only have like 60 subscribers, so we'd like to get
Yeah.
to 61 at least.
because our content is phenomenal.
So we'd appreciate it. But yeah, let's get started. Jared, you want to start with... Or you go ahead, take the lead.
With like a synopsis.
Yeah.
So without spoiling too much, I'm kind of going a lot off memory because I didn't play all the way to the very end. But pretty much the game it starts off with you outside of, I think, like an insane asylum, and you have an email from a whistleblower inside the company who basically is saying there's some nefarious, some creepy, weird crap, illegal stuff happening inside this facility. You're an investigative journalist, so you follow up on this, and you find your way into this insane asylum. And not an insane asylum, it's like a mental institution. And then things kind of start going off the rails. Like you basically get trapped and realize that you're kind of screwed.
Yeah,
So-
to where I don't think you even care about the story anymore. You're just trying to escape with your life.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
figure the first part of the game is you're trying to get in to find stuff, and then when you get thrown down further in, the next mission is just escape.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
guys just
Figure
like,
out how to
I'm
get out of
done. I'm just getting out of here.
Yeah, which is, I guess, the number one gripe that I'll just get right off. I'll just start with it. My number one gripe with the game is I don't like games where I don't have a weapon
Oh,
or like a
100%.
gun.
Yeah.
Because it makes me scared. So the game does its job. I did notice a lot of times playing this that it was hard for me to really remember a lot of details about the story because you are scared. A lot of times you're just trying to get from point A to point B, and you don't want to even scour. At least personally, me, I didn't want to like scour the rooms for
Yeah.
like notes and crap like that. And you do play with a camera, right? Because you're a journalist, and oftentimes it's pitch black, so you have to use the night vision, but that drains your battery. So you have to tactically when you want to use it, and then sometimes you'll turn it on, and there's like a butt naked dude right in front of
Yeah.
you who's extremely overweight and got scars all over his body, and yeah, so
That stuck out in
That's
your
the
mind. Huh?
that's the guy that throws you.
Yeah.
Chokeslams you out of
No,
it.
touching on what you said, I felt the same exact way. I would rather them at least give me some sort of, even a club. But that's where I was thinking, okay, you're not going to give me a gun or something. But as a human,
A
if I'm in that
board,
situation,
yeah.
I'm picking up anything I can use to start clubbing on fools.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this guy, he seems, where we talked about in Dead Space, he was just a badass.
Yeah.
This guy seems like he's like a pacifist or something. He's just trying to escape. I just want out of here. Whereas I think I'm gonna try and fight a little bit, not just hide. But hey, that's just my input on that part of the game.
yeah.
The
So
character's name is Miles Upshur.
He actually has a name. I don't remember his
yeah,
name.
no, his name is if in the beginning, the email when you're reading it in your car, it says like it's addressed from. I think the guy's name was Wayland. Something. I only remember that because I think Wayland Yutani from like Alien.
I don't say Waylon
That's
Jennings.
the only Wayland I know.
Waylon Jennings.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
is that a
but-
singer or something?
Yeah, Dukes of
no,
Hazzard.
Oh.
yeah, but it's addressed to a guy named Miles, like you said. So, anyways, you go through the gate, you end up in there, and then things start going crazier. And the farther you go down, you start to unravel like more of a conspiracy, and it gets scarier as you go. And then I just think it's kind of like the movie Shutter Island. Like if
Yeah.
we've all seen that, where there's something really creepy and disturbing about like the mentally, I don't know, God, this is going to sound terrible, about like the mentally disabled being abused. So like when you see them, like you know that they don't have the same mental capacity because something like maybe an accident or whatever it may be, and then you're in this place where you know they're being tortured, and it gives like this really unnerving feeling that just I don't know, it kind of just spirals from there.
So did you want to touch on what do you want to touch on? I know you're big into like the sound and stuff like that. You want to do sound?
So
or?
I would start with the sound, like the atmosphere, like hearing stuff off in the distance. It's pretty good. Like you hear certain things, like you kept thinking something was behind you. He's like, the guy's behind me. It's like, no, dude, that's your footsteps. Like,
Yeah.
So they didn't do a great job then.
no, it's just you.
It
That's
tricked
the
me.
atmosphere, yeah. The whole time, and then just hear people scream off in the distance, or a jump scare, or somebody jumps out and grabs you. This guy's mashing the control like he's gonna get free. It's like, dude, it's not that type of game.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. When you first turn on the game, I'm not used to playing a game with. I'm used to playing like Resident Evil or something else. And so yeah, when I got attacked, I thought if I hit the button more, it would kick him off or something. It didn't do anything, but
Yeah, like
the sound
yeah,
seems solid.
walking
yeah.
through it. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand it's a very low budget game, so for what they have with the
Red
money,
Barrel,
Red
right?
Barrel. I think Red Barrel did a great job with all that because there's probably a limited amount of money, but just all that stuff, the footsteps, all that stuff, it holds up pretty well. Hearing people off in the distance, all
Yeah,
that,
and
The
I also
thunderstorm going off
Yeah.
always adds to it.
stepping on glass and scaring yourself.
yeah, I also thought. I mean, going into graphics, playing it today, it's good enough, right? It holds up pretty
Yeah,
well.
yeah, the cobweb's pretty bad though.
Yeah, some of the stuff is bad. If you look at the detail, it was pretty bad. I think it was even supposed to be a spider web or something.
spider web,
yeah.
And it was just, it was horrible looking.
Now,
but
did you like the fact that you look down and you have a body?
I did like that.
Told you.
I did like that, and I liked that when you walked through the blood, there was like bloody footprints that would
Yeah.
eventually fade away.
Yeah.
Except for when I crawled through the blood, I didn't get the handprints or the knee marks or anything like that. And then when I looked down, I didn't have blood on me. But
Yeah.
I guess that's just being nitpicky.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect the funness of the game or anything like that. So, but graphically, I think it holds up pretty well.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job of you're using a camera. So a lot of times when you're looking, and it's an older, not an old
Camcorder, I
game,
think.
but it's like an older style camcorder. So those are going to be grainy anyways when you're in poor lighting. So oftentimes in the game you're using, you'll notice like because you want to flip to the night vision so quick, most of the time in the game you're looking through the camcorder, even though you can actually physically put it down.
Yeah,
So
I
I
was
think
doing
they
that, yeah.
used that to kind of, it was almost like with Silent Hill and we're going to use the fog to hide our draw distance and stuff. I feel like that's probably a tactic that they did because, I mean, you look through any small, 280p or whatever, 240p camcorder, everything's going to look like that.
So, what did you guys think about controls?
Controls are nice. They're-
Decent,
yeah,
right?
they hold
Yeah.
up. I'm very simple.
They held up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good enough.
It's a little linear, right? So like a lot of times like you move up to something and like you have to push something out of the way where it's kind of like holding your hand to get from point A to point B. There's really only one way of doing it. So yeah, I feel like you're a little slow in some of like your motions. Like if someone was chasing me, I'd be flipping something out of the way.
Well, he
but-
kept changing the batteries on an accident.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, we can get into if that's all we're going to cover on those things we did and didn't like.
Yeah.
But if we're going into that portion, there were a couple things I didn't like. I didn't like that you couldn't interact with more things. Most of it was like opening doors, climbing, jumping. There were a lot of file cabinets that I'm just used to being able to open them, even for Xbox, early Xbox One, Xbox 360, whatever. I feel like you can do that in a lot of games, but again, Red Barrel, they did what they could.
We got to see if Red Barrel made a second one.
Yeah, I hope they did.
I wish you can interact with more items like that. It did make it kind of easy though, like when you were, at least when you found the item, it was glowing, illuminating, and you knew if you could interact with it that it was important. So again, to your point of being a little bit linear, it was like if you can't interact with it, just ignore it. And the other thing I didn't care for was the battery. Like if you didn't need to change your battery, you still could change your battery and waste a battery.
Yeah.
And I kept hitting the Y button on accident. Thinking I was hitting the other, I think it was X I was trying to hit. And that was kind of lame, but maybe it's just maybe the more you play, you get better at not doing that. But I thought that was kind of like you shouldn't be able to change the battery, or if you change the battery and your battery was fine, you still keep a battery.
Yeah,
like that was
or just make it to where you can't change it until you're like 25% left. Or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
and those are two things that I didn't care for. but they're not game wrecking.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they're just nitpicking.
There is both sides of the coin though, because like if let's say you play something like Amnesia, where you can interact with everything, like you said, is because you can interact with everything, it feels dull and lifeless because you'll open so many drawers and it's just nothing, right? Oh, but you can open it. You can grab this chair and flip it, where it actually makes it feel like the world is less. And then also, like you said, is you'll miss something that you should interact with because you can touch everything. So it's kind of like, pick your poison.
Yeah, I would say you don't need to interact necessarily with everything, but I feel like it was almost open a door or pick up an item that you're allowed to pick up. You know what I mean? And that was the extent, at least that I got to. You guys tell me if I'm wrong.
No.
There's more further on.
Yeah, well, a little bit, but not. This is like this is kind of a bare bones, smaller.
Yeah, the second
budget
one they put a
just
lot
to
more
get
into it.
going. Yeah.
Anything you guys disliked, or that stick out to you that you disliked?
I just don't like the way you can't defend yourself. Yeah, that's not my thing.
Yeah, the not being able to defend yourself, and to be honest, the story feels really good when you start it.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad.
And then it just kind of, it's not that it's bad, it's just, it's a little weird. And I mean, we can spoil it in, a little bit, but.
Now, how scared were you when you played this?
So for me, I don't play a ton of games like this. I didn't really know what to expect, but I immediately, when it's like, oh, you read this thing and then you get out of your car, your Jeep or whatever, I just wanted to jump back in the Jeep and leave. Like, there's no need to be
why
here.
are you
Like,
there?
I'm not going to win a Pulitzer or
Can't you
something.
be an
know?
investigative journalist during the day?
Yeah, but on top of that, wouldn't you bring like a 9mm or something?
That's what I didn't understand. But again, it gets back to, this is like, I imagine this being one of those environmentally, you know what I mean? Like just a soft individual who's going in there and didn't know.
He's definitely.
I don't know. I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings.
he doesn't
He's a
believe-
Nancy. He's a Nancy boy.
That was odd.
Or wouldn't you bring your friend with you? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to be here. You're going to come with me. We're both bringing guns.
Yeah.
Somebody has your back. Now, if that was in the game, the guy would have instantly got impaled or something.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think he expected it to be this.
I mean, you go into a
awful.
mental institution late at night.
I wouldn't go into a mental institution unless they threw me in a mental
And then
institution.
the first thing is you walk in, your front door is locked, and then the only way in is a fence that's broken. That's a sign like I'm getting out of here, dude.
And it
And
was metal.
there's no security guard at the front gate.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
When you see the dude impaled and he's like, "Get out!"
No, he
and
just
you're-
ran past that.
And
he got
I'm
scared
just
and ran
like,
past it.
"Oh yeah, I'm gonna die in here." Yeah.
Well, see, like I said, I don't play a lot of those games. So as soon as I saw something that made me uneasy, I just kept running.
You do the back in. You use the turn your back and walk into a
I do
room.
that all the time.
Yeah, I would run, or the peeking I thought was kind of cool. Like
With
you
the
could
hand.
peek
You put the
through.
hand
I thought that was
on.
cool when you actually see the hand. So that was really well done.
So I know you didn't get very far, but later on, there's a guy that pretty much cuts your hands and stuff. He chases you around with a gigantic scissors.
oh
Yeah.
my god, like
He'll see you, and he'll go,
hedgers,
I think he says like, "Where are you going, buddy?" or something like that. And he just chases
so
you.
it's kind of like
He has giant scissors, right? Or is that a different game?
No, they're not giants. They're large, but they're not like.
Yeah, the giant one's Scissor Man from Clock Tower. Never mind.
Yeah. No, but what? I'm trying to remember. It kind of reminds me of the dad from is it Resident Evil 7?
Yeah.
Where
Biohazard?
he follows you and he just talks crap about you the
Yeah,
entire
he
time.
chases you and talks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were the things there weren't many things that you disliked. What are the things that you liked a lot that you think set this game apart
The things
or
that
stick out?
They
in your
don't
head?
stop looking for you.
yeah,
That's what's good.
that I think the scares the beginning scares are set up really good. And even though there's a part in the game where like you get out of the elevator and you can see the exit and you're just like, "Oh, I've been playing this for maybe 90 minutes. There's no way this is the end." You know it's not the end, but in your head you're going, "Please let this be the effing end. I just want to get the hell out of here." And of course it's not. Something else happens. So that was set up good. There's a lot of people that you pass by and they don't interact with you and you think they're going to because you're
The guy in
freaking
the
scared.
wheelchair, you have to go back. Yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually, finally when you're just like, this guy's not going to do anything because I've passed him 17 times, he finally jumps out at you. So I think the scares were set up pretty well.
And they're not cheap scares because they're right in your face. They're not like
Yeah,
little ghosts and stuff.
The main, I don't want to say the main guy because the main guy's the priest.
Yeah.
Well, the main, I guess the guy who kind of like helps free you later, but the main guy who cuts off a couple of your fingers
Yeah.
is really creepy. Even like he said, he'll chase you. You have to climb through vents, and he'll see you go through a vent, so he goes into the room to
Yeah.
try to
And
get
he
you.
talks the whole time. It's what's scary.
So yeah, I mean, it has a lot. I wouldn't say it's like a must-play horror game, but it was definitely a shock hit, I guess you could
Well,
say.
I
Sleeper.
did like what you touched on already. Was I went into a room early on and I'm running from that dude and I just hid, and Jared. He's played it before, so he goes, they don't just stop looking for you because you're like, once you hide, like the music will stop and then
Yeah.
they stop. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of accustomed to that. Where like, and so I liked that. Then I had to go out and peek and then run past him and they clubbed me or whatever he did.
Or they'll say something loud like, "Oh, he's not in here anymore," like in those other older games.
Or the part where we were in that room with the fireplace, I think, or the TV, something was
Yeah.
on, and the guys are just sitting there. And this is like the first time, and I went in there and none of them did anything.
Yeah.
Most of them don't do anything.
They're
Most
all
of them
been
are,
like lobotomized.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
them are just
their
normal.
brain was popping out or anything like that. What stuck out in your mind on things you like?
I like the dude in the wheelchair. Like you walk by him, you're like, oh, he ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
And then you go back and he jumps all over you, and he's just like slimy. I don't know what happened to him. Like what is he seeing? But I like the bad guys, how there's like not bosses, but kind of like bosses. Like the guy I told you, guy cuts your hands and stuff. Like he literally chases you, and I think if I remember correctly, how you kill him, you smash his head on the elevator or something, right?
Yeah, so he gets basically caught in between the
Yes.
the elevator and like the floor. He gets wedged in between.
So you just go in, you turn on the elevator, and he
He
tries to get
chases
you.
you
and
everywhere,
you're
yeah.
So you're
crushed.
running down floors to try to get away from him. Well, originally,
He puts you in a wheelchair, and then
Yeah.
you break yourself free, and then he's like, "Where are you going, buddy?" Or whatever he
Yeah.
says, and he chases you, and then you hide, and then you hear him say something. He's like, "Crap, he's seen me again," and then it's a long thing.
yeah.
I think he was gonna cut like a lot of other pieces off of you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so basically, I guess we need to spoil it.
I mean, you kind of.
The ending, I'm gonna say the
yeah.
ending to me, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of stupid. I don't like the sci-fi crap
Yeah.
it turns. I'm not into about that.
I mean, we could just leave it there, I guess, for somebody who maybe
It's
hasn't.
everybody's played it, bro.
So it's I don't know. It's kind of like so obviously they hint at some of these doctors being very much like it's not like MK Ultra from like the 50s or 60s, but it's more like concentration camp, Nazi Germany testing on people. Like they kind of hint at that a lot, and they create like some creature called like I think it's like the Wall Rider or something.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're testing people is that they test these people while they're dreaming, right? They're like lobotomized. They're able to control this wall rider as like a weapon. But then the ones that don't take well to this treatment become like those big creatures. That's like the ones that chase you. But then like the priest like frees you, and I don't know, it's weird because like the ending, like you just end up getting caught, or you're getting ready to escape, and then like these people show up, go, oh, this can't get out, and then they shoot you and you just die. But then after you die, as you're bleeding out, you hear that creature come out and kill everybody in the room, so you're just like, that's
That's
it.
weird.
And he's
Yeah,
gonna
Like,
save you.
You're like in a
Yeah.
like a lab at the end.
yeah, it's like you go into like an underground lab.
Uh-huh.
What there is a cool scene we forgot to mention is, and it's I mean if you're like a super, I don't want to say like a Jesus, when people say, oh, you're a Jesus freak or something, but there is a scene where a priest does crucify himself and light himself on fire. So if that's something you're not gonna want to see,
Well, the second one's with babies and stuff.
it gets even crazier.
You would not want to play the second one.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get into if what I want to do or whatever, but let's throw it over to producer Rich for his 15 seconds of airtime here. He's done a good job of being very reserved this week and not just putting himself where he's not necessarily wanted. But here's your 15 seconds. So for anyone who hasn't watched before, he has 15 seconds to give us any sort of information on the game that he thinks is important or something that we missed, and then we will cut him off right at 15.
And if you want 15 seconds more, or if you want more than 15 seconds, then you're in the wrong place because he gets 15 seconds. Right?
I mean, if he does well and you guys want to comment, again, please comment something. Let us know if you think he deserves more or less time, and we'll abide by a majority rule there.
Yeah.
So 15 seconds starts now.
The downloadable content Outlast Whistleblower served as an overlapping prequel to the original game. Plot follows Wayland Park, anonymous tipster to Miles. It shows
And
events
that's it.
before and after.
Okay, so
He struggled a little bit.
He
Should we get
struggled.
into that? Should we touch on Whistleblower? Do you guys know what that is?
So we'll touch on it because he brought it up, and we'll just end. Yeah, that there. Whistleblowers, what?
You want to take it? You want me to take it? So whistleblower is basically, if you don't know what a whistleblower is, not trying to mansplain or anything, but it's basically like when let's say you work at a place, you see something going on that's not up to
Yeah,
snuff.
you snitch.
Yeah, you're protected. You have rights, or you're protected. Where basically, you play as the person who sent the email to Miles, and it's pretty cool because it ties in to where you'll be doing something in this prequel, and you'll actually see Miles, what he's done. So, not to spoil this as well, but you basically get caught. You whistleblow, you try to contact out through like a radio, and the guy who works there basically like starts testing on you. Like you're not getting out. So basically, you see Miles, you see the priest, you see the fire from a distance when the priest lights himself on fire. Miles dies. Believe it or not, the whistleblower gets out. He survives and actually gets out, and then he whistleblows it. And I think that's what the second one.
He's a main character in the second one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just made that up. I don't know.
No clue.
So
I actually never played the second one. Watched the trailers to it, and I was like, I don't know if I want to crap my pants.
So this is like it's like DLC that they release later on, but now if you were to
yes.
buy the game, it comes with the game.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's, to be honest, I think Whistleblower, if you're going to play the original Outlast, you have to play Whistleblower because it adds
And
that much to it.
how long do you remember Whistleblower adding to
maybe
it?
2 hours.
Okay, so it's a good
Yeah.
good.
It's
a
nothing
good amount of
crazy,
time. Yeah. Okay, let's get into it then. Let's get into if we think this game
What's it worth
is
first?
worth the smacks. Yeah, we'll ask him. We're gonna get into if this game is worth the smacks here. So before we do that, though, I would like to know what does it run? How much does it cost? Mainly on what was it released on?
Xbox, PS4.
Xbox and PlayStation, and then its Metacritic rating if you have that readily available.
Xbox, I see it for 28.
That's kind of pricey.
Oh, that one's sealed. Okay, 19.99, 21.34.
This is 25.
Are you on
So,
eBay? Is that what you're
yeah,
looking?
so we're on eBay. So about $22.
Okay. How about for PlayStation? You have that one, or is it just?
No, I have PlayStation 4. That would be 34 tested, authentic. 30 looks like it's sealed. It's a little bit more. 35. So
$30.
So you're looking at about
25 and 30.
Yeah, about
That seems
25
pretty
and
pricey.
30.
I thought it came out brand new 20.
Yeah, that's why when he said that, I was a little shocked. And then a side note, like, PlayStation, like, can we come up with something better than just adding numbers to your consoles? Like,
Yeah.
Well, here's one thing I did want to touch on is they actually did make a version from Limited Run for the Switch. Guess what that costs now? It came out in 2018.
Like $100.
$289.
$200 for just the video game one, just the normal one. If you were to get the briefcase edition, they made a briefcase edition. Check it out. $350 or something like
Wow.
that now.
That does look cool, though.
And it originally sold for $100.
Wow.
Like
Well,
that's crazy. It
and-
comes with a lot of the info that they were whistleblowing. Like in a little dossier. Was it
Dossier, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And his attaché case, he just...
It has an attaché case.
That's the lowest rated one, by the way.
The Switch one?
Well, I mean, everything should be rated lower on the Switch because it's
Yeah.
just
It's the
it doesn't
Switch.
have the power. But once again, are you going to play that and go, dropping? It's scared. It's
What
docked.
are
It's docked.
you I would play it in a closet in the dark,
Closet?
just so
Actually,
it's really
closet
dark.
for?
Because you can handheld in a very, very dark
Yeah.
space.
You just turn your light off in your house. What are you gonna play in a closet for?
It's darker in a closet. Are you
It's
stupid?
always
It feels
darker
like
in a
you
closet.
want to hide in a closet because you feel like you're safer because there's nothing coming around
And
you.
then all of a
That's
sudden
exactly what it
then
is.
You're just going to have a creepy hand touch you from inside.
Anyway, okay. So what was the Metacritic?
PC is 80. PS4 is 78. He's all out of 100, by the way. And Xbox One is 80. And Nintendo Switch is 77.
Still pretty
80,
good. Still pretty
basically
good
80
everywhere.
across the
I'm gonna
board.
have to look to get the copy on Nintendo Switch. I really
One thing
not the
I-
dossier one. That's
Yeah,
too
sure.
expensive.
One thing I would say though, and I know we've said it before, not so much when you're playing Alien Isolation. If you're playing a horror game, play with headphones. Don't just play through your TV because when you play with headphones, it's way better. It's way scarier. It's way more immersive. That's why they'll put that on the screen. We recommend playing with headphones.
Before
throwing
I,
that out there.
before I get in, what is I see Xbox One here, a version called Outlast Trinity. What
That's
is-
probably going to be all three of the
Yeah,
games.
it's
It's
gonna be
probably
Whistleblower,
Whistleblower 1 and 2.
Yeah.
it says the Ultimate Horror Bundle features over 20 hours. Outlast 1, Outlast Whistleblower, and Outlast 2. Correct, and
So
that one's only $20.
Maybe Whistleblower is longer than I remember.
I don't know, but so we'll go around $20, right? That's what he was saying, about $20.
Yeah. give or
And
take.
it was rated as about an 80. So, do you think it's worth the smacks, and does it hold up to that 80 standard? I guess so. I don't know who wants to start. You seem to know the most about it. Maybe you start. It seems like you played this quite a few times.
Yeah, well, it's because when I originally played it, I quit several times because I was too scared. And then I believe Jared beat it.
It came out what year? Do you remember?
Don't really remember.
2014.
Yeah,
2014.
Beret Jared beat it. I know Dreamlight David beat it. Or I think, did he beat it?
No, he fell asleep. He was so scared he put his person under the table and fell asleep. He woke up next day and his character was still there.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if he beat it past that point. I
I
don't
think he ended up beating it because I think I remember him telling me he beat it, and then that's why I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna strike through and just push through and beat it. No, it's not Smack certified. I don't feel like if you're a horror aficionado, you need to play this. It's a good game. To be honest, I feel like Whistleblower brought more than the original game. It does some cool things. I like the camcorder, but a lot of it just feels really linear to me. The story towards the second half, it just gets really weird, and it kind of felt like when you're playing Resident Evil, and then all of a sudden you're always in like the Umbrella base.
And they always detonate.
Yeah, and I'm like, so it kind of felt like that, where they were trying to come up with something. It's a great idea. It sucks you in at the very beginning and then just falls flat at the end, in my opinion. So no, it's not Smack certified.
It was 2013. By the way.
2013.
Yeah, 2013 for the PC and Xbox, and 2014
And I think
for the
I think that's something
PlayStation.
that we didn't talk about here, but we talked about earlier. Is you could tell it's PC oriented with
Yeah.
that dot right in the middle of the screen, which didn't detract from it. But I guess I'll go next. A lot I liked, a lot I wish could have been better. I think Red Barrels did the best they could
Okay.
with their budget, I guess.
We got to find out what they've done.
So I'm going to say it's Smack certified, and I'm not big into these games, mainly because for $20, I feel like I'm going to have a good time, and it's something good to add to the horror collection. I'm not sitting here and saying it's the greatest horror game of all time because I haven't played them all, and I'm not big into it. But for $20, I think it's worth the smacks. I think I would spend $20 on it. And as a score of 80, I think it's easily an 80. I would agree with that as well. So, off to you.
I would say graphics hold up pretty well. Controls, they're good enough, they hold up. This one, I was on the fence because the ending to me is so bad. I don't like the ending. I don't like that sci-fi crap. Kind of takes you out of it. But that being said, because the 99% of the game is good, it's definitely Smack certified. If I disagree. If you are a horror fan, I feel like you have to play this because to me, this is one of the first indie games that I ever heard of that was good. Usually they're bad. Now, I mean, obviously they're good now because it's years later. But back in 2012, 2013, indie games were kind of just like, who would even play them? So to me, this was like the first game that I saw. I was like, okay, the indie games actually are worth something. So that being said, I would have to say Smack certified.
You clearly never played Slenderman.
Oh,
That
I
one's
guess
terrible.
I guess bad. You grab the pages.
All right, so I gotta know what else has Red Barrel done? Have they done anything? Can we ask him? Were we allowed to do that? I know he had when it passed his 15 seconds.
He wasn't great on his 15 seconds, but I actually want the answer to this as well. So
Okay,
we'll
the people want to know.
Well, what I have here is that was their first game, Red Barrel.
Wow.
But it says they work with the AAA games, Ubisoft. So they did Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, and Uncharted.
So when Ubisoft didn't want to do something, they basically said, "Hey,
but
Red
all
Barrel."
those games are,
Yeah.
regardless of how you like them, they're all pretty good games.
No, they're solid. Yeah.
So they're not a crappy developer.
Yeah.
No, I don't think any of us are saying that. We were actually impressed, right?
I was, yeah,
So
definitely.
That's their first game.
They said they originally couldn't find anybody to invest.
Wow.
So they had
well, I mean, a name like Red Barrels, like
Yeah.
you're not bringing.
Well,
heat.
no, I think what he means by it was they probably didn't want anybody to invest. They're going Outlast, a game about a journalist who doesn't even have a gun. Like, who the hell? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm
so
glad it did well though because it is.
Now, did they make
it's an
the-
enjoyable game.
They got
Did they
they
make
got
the second
fund,
one?
It says they got funding from Canada Media Fund for 1.36 million.
Did they make the
So
second
Trudeau, we got to thank Trudeau for out.
one? No, this is before Trudeau. Did they make a second one?
Who's Red Barrel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the second one has a way bigger budget, you can tell.
As far as I can tell, they did.
I remember the E3 trailer for that, and
And then
I remember I'm going, oh man, I have to not be a loser and be a scaredy cat and actually finish the first one.
and this
out.
might be a dumb question, but would you be able to put all three on the same disc if they weren't made by the same?
The first one's. Oh,
I mean,
that.
if they weren't made by the
who- it
same
depends
person?
Who owns the rights? If somebody
if
funded
they have
it.
I guess.
If they have
yeah.
a parent company or something, then yeah, they can do it.
Yeah, so if the company funded it, said, okay, we'll fund you, but we get the rights to it
Yeah.
after, then yeah. Now,
Um,
the third one, I think it's multiplayer, and you have to escape together.
Oh, that
So it
sounds
shows like a
terrible.
scene where you're trying to, the one's on the, through a grate and they're putting their hand down and you have to jump and pull yourself.
And that's coming out soon.
I think they
That's what
keep
you're talking
delaying it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe E3 will show us something.
Well,
The
are we
answer to
going?
that, sorry, the answer to that question is yes. They did do the second one as well.
What about Trials? I think it's Trials.
Outlast 2,
That's
We'll
Now,
touch on
the
that.
question is,
2017.
We'll touch on that in the future. Yeah,
are
But
we
they
going to
did
be at
do
E3 this year?
yeah I just waiting for tickets to go on sale. They
Yeah.
might already be.
Yeah,
I know
mean,
Microsoft. I know Microsoft's not going to be there. Nintendo not going to be
No,
there.
well,
Sony. We're
Microsoft
still going.
always does something across the street, no matter what, at the mic, because they have their own store across the street.
I don't think it's a store. It's like a. You're
It's like a theater, Microsoft Theater. Yeah.
Okay, so as far as Outlast goes, we had 2 out of 3 Smack certified. So we think it's a good game. I think, Brad, you would agree it's good. It's maybe just not something that you would personally buy or invest in. What game did you guys want to do next?
Ooh.
It's a great question.
I know we haven't actually talked about that, but we need to
Do you
figure
want to
something
stick to
out.
horror?
No, I think
bounce out?
no. I maybe we do something something a little different.
Yeah, because you want to get that scared images out of your head. You want to do something friendly.
No, I want to do something.
He's running out of underwear.
Something different. No, I didn't play long enough.
You're not
to-
playing
to-
bully. Don't grab bully. You live for bully.
How about no, he won't play that. I was gonna say, what about Left 4 Dead, the original one? But
No,
we'd have to play that all together.
Yeah, and I think we let's do something where maybe we can please everybody, right? Another genre.
Okay. We can't do
Um,
sports because a lot of people don't like sports games. What was that?
Producer Rich, what are we playing next week?
Jesus.
That was one-handed.
Okay, so we're playing Rare Replay. What are we playing in Rare Replay? Because there's a lot in there. Ooh, I got that.
Do you
flash
want
flood.
me? There's 30 hit games. You want me to go through all of them?
No, let's just. Which one were we playing? Banjo. I think we were playing Banjo, right?
I wasn't sure. You
Were
didn't.
you asking or telling? me?
Well, knowing that he threw us Rare Replay, I know he has Banjo in mind because he's a big Banjo fan, and I think it's probably the only game he knows that's in Rare Replay. To be fair,
All those games are good, dude.
yeah,
I played it for a while, and there's a lot of good games
Yeah,
on there.
Battletoads.
yeah.
There's
So
like
we'll
a couple
play.
Battletoads on there.
We'll play Banjo. I remember playing this game. This was my game. I loved this game. I think we all would agree this was my fave back in the day.
Your what?
Fave slash for short for favorite.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Really quick, if you're seeing this cartridge, it's Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and then the lower half is Rare Replay. So don't.
It's a disc, not a
Yeah,
cartridge.
well, whatever.
The case.
Yeah, that's why it's a Gears of War, whatever. Anyways,
So okay, Banjo.
it was your game though. You played it a lot. I remember.
I remember where we got it from. We first rented it from Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
5 days you get to play a game. I remember, like, dude. 'cause-
When they upped it to 5 days,
well,
dude,
because Video
game
Event
changer.
We went to Video Event. Remember, it was only 2 days.
2 days. Yeah.
And it was only like $2 to rent it. But we're like, we want to do Blockbuster, so we went to. He got a thing for Blockbuster, and I'm not mistaken. I think we got it used from Blockbuster. We bought it and it had like a sticker on it. I want to say.
Yeah, it did have that
Maybe.
sticker, the silver
So
sticker.
I was actually on eBay looking to buy. Now this is the reason why it's hard for me to buy stuff from Nintendo is you can't tell if the cartridges are real. I always say authentic. Yeah, that's just you saying it. But they wanted Banjo because it would be complete in a box. It was like $130. I'm like, God, I kind of want
so
that.
one of the things I'll say is look at their ratings, look at how many things they've sold, and then when you get it, you can open it up, and if it's fake, then you just roast the guy, and nobody's gonna buy from him again. They're not gonna do that to you.
Well, there's only certain games that like Nintendo that I want to have complete in a box, and it's like that's one
You
of
can
them.
often find sellers on eBay too. Well, they'll open it up for you, show you pictures of the board,
Yeah.
so you know it's legit. But I'm excited. Banjo, definitely one of my favorites, and I think it's a nice break from the horror or more adult themed games we've
Okay.
been doing
So
recently.
if it was your fave, what was your favorite level?
I don't have a favorite level per se. I just liked that and we'll get into it next week. Let's get into it next
No, but
week.
you
I'm not
gotta
gonna-
just throw
I'm
it
not
out.
gonna
Throw
spoil
out
it
a
right
level that.
I don't remember exactly what
The
level.
best
was my
level is the
favorite.
beach one.
Yeah, that's the best one.
I don't remember
With the big crab guy.
yeah.
Well, anyway, we'll get into more of that next week. Let's cut this short. Let's at least end it now. So, Outlast 2 out of 3 on the Smack certified. RBJR said it wasn't Smack certified, and he is the resident horror game guy. He has
thought
his
that
own,
was-
no,
was
you're
me.
resident Jared,
Oh,
but
okay.
he's the.
Okay.
Resident Beret Jared.
That was horrible. If you
care.
cut the beret out, it was good. It would have been.
Well, no,
shorter
because I
and
realized he
better.
goes by Beret Jared. You
I
have to add
don't
that
go.
in. He
Okay.
literally. Okay, never mind. I don't
Yeah,
wanna
that's
get
it. But other than that, we will be doing Banjo-Kazooie next week. Appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for the support. If you could, click the like, subscribe, leave a comment. We'd greatly appreciate it. Peace.